So recently Soft99 sent a few products for me to review on the channel, 3 of which are these waxes. So first up we've got King of Gloss, we've also got Fusso Coat, which probably most of you are familiar with, and we also have Kiwami as well, which is a hybrid wax. So what I'm going to be doing in the video is comparing them and trying to look a little bit for the differences between them. And I'm also going to be preparing the car using a few Soft99 products to help get the best durability. So I'm going to be talking through my experience using the products and give my honest opinions on them. And as always, the video is going to be timestamped, so I'll jump in now and show you how I prepared the car. So before switching the camera on, I did wash the wheels and pre-wash the car, so it was ready for the contact wash, which I'll be using the Soft99 Creamy Shampoo. So I have used a sample of this previously, and when I looked on the instructions I used a distributor and they recommended 25ml in your bucket. Now when you actually go on the Soft99 UK website, they actually recommend 75ml per 10 litres of water, which is the dilution that I used here, and I had a far better experience using the products with this dilution. It offered plenty of suds and slickness and felt really safe on the panels, but the obvious downside is that it's a pretty high amount to be using in the shampoo bucket, so although the cost per litre is very competitive, you probably only will get about 10 washes out of it. So in order to test the waxes, what I did was prepare the bonnet and the driver's side rear wing and door. And I wanted to give the waxes the best opportunity to last for as long as possible on this car, so I did clay and polish it using Soft99 products. So here I'm using one of their clay bars. This is called Smooth Egg and it's their milder clay bar out of the two. They do a more aggressive one for heavier contamination, but this was perfectly fine. And the benefit of using a milder clay is it's going to minimise the risk of marring. So I also used the Soft99 shampoo that I was using for the contact wash to lubricate the panels as well. Typically I would do a chemical decontamination first using iron fallout and towel remover, however I did this very recently on this car, so didn't feel the need to do this on the day. As I had cleaned and protected the car recently, there was still some water behaviour on the vehicle, indicating that the protection was still there. So I did use the Garage Therapy Decon shampoo at 10% in a spray bottle and just worked that in using a mitt to try and remove that prior to polishing, so that the polishing pad I was using didn't get clogged too quickly. The next product I'm using here is Soft99's Micro Liquid Compound. Now the main purpose of this product is to help decontaminate the paintwork further by removing old waxes, even coatings, so that the paint protection that's going to be applied has a cleaner surface to adhere to. It also does have the ability to remove some minor scratches and swirls, however keep in mind that this is a hand polish, and unless you are willing to put a lot of effort and time into polishing the car this way, it is very difficult to remove deeper defects. The product comes with an applicator, which I find very useful, so I applied it directly to this applicator and then worked in using a crosshatch pattern until the products began to dry out. To remove it, I did use a damp microfiber towel, which is recommended, as otherwise it can be a little bit tough to remove. In order to show you the level of correction that I managed to achieve, you can see here the panel on the left had not been treated, and then the panel on the right I had used a polish. It did help to improve the finish, but there were still a decent amount of defects in the paintwork. The next product I'm using here is Silicone Off. Now this product acts like a panel wipe solution. It's slightly different to ones I've used previously, which are more sort of liquid sprayable products, as this comes in kind of an aerosol can. The aim of this product is to remove any of those polishing oils from the previous step to ensure the surface is fully degreased so that the waxes do have the best surface to adhere to. I sprayed this directly onto the towel and a little bit onto the panel as well to make sure I had enough product on there to do its job. It had a pretty good work time before flashing off to help make it more effective, and it didn't leave any streaks or smears behind, and I was confident that this product had done a good job at removing those polishing oils. So now onto the waxes. Now for this I split the bonnet up into 3 sections, and I started by using Fusso Coat on the left. So this is of course the new version of Fusso. I have previously, a few years ago, used the older version of this, but I know there have been formula changes, so I did want to go into this with an open mind. I found the application of this version very easy. It spread very nicely on the panel using the provided applicator, and then after 5 minutes it was ready to buff off, and I didn't have any issues buffing it off whatsoever. You'll notice as I am applying all three of these products, what I wanted to do is go for quite a thick layer, as I wanted to test them out really to see if the product was over applied, whether I'd run into any issues. So Fusso Coat is probably the Soft99 wax that people are most familiar with. It has a durability claim of 12 months. Next up is Kiwami. Now this is a hybrid wax and it's a mix of synthetic elements and also carnauba wax. So the aim of this wax is to be a very good all-rounder without making any compromises in any areas. Again, super easy to apply and remove. Even when I used a thick layer, only the high spots were a little bit harder to buff off. This wax aims to last for 3 months, however I have seen other people get better durability with this, and that's something that I will look to monitor. One thing that I did want to mention is that all these waxes come in a light and dark variety, and I often do see a lot of people asking what's the difference between the dark and the light version. So in terms of the formulations, the darker version has more fillers, which aim to help mask swirls and minor defects that are more obvious on darker paintwork, and the lighter versions have more cleaning agents. I have found a useful link in the description that gives Soft99's recommendation as to which variety to use on which colour car, and it's kind of a colour chart that they give, so I'll pop that in the description so you can decide which variety to use if the colour of your car doesn't fit quite so obviously into one of those categories. And the final wax that I'm applying on the right here is King of Gloss, which of course, given the name, is Soft99 sort of show wax, and this also has a maximum durability claim of 3 months, but again I will be looking to monitor that. This wax again was straightforward to apply like the others. I gave them all a 5-minute cure time after application before buffing off. When I spread the product I did probably leave a few more high spots with this one compared to the other 2 waxes, so it was a little bit tougher to buff off on those sections, but when applied in a thinner even layer, all 3 waxes didn't cause any issues with removal. Another thing that I did want to mention is that all the waxes do come with the same applicator, which I do think is a very good touch that they do include it. However, I do find that the applicator is a tiny bit coarse, and although when loaded up with the wax, it's not really in contact with the paintwork, I do think maybe on some softer paints that have been recently corrected, it might be wiser to use something that's a little bit softer. In terms of the finish, I did try to assess the slickness of each panel and I really couldn't find too much of a difference. In terms of gloss, I couldn't notice much of a detectable difference again between the 3 waxes on this car. However, I did notice that it was actually Fusso that had a little bit more of a darkening effect, as you can see on the left here, compared to the other 2, which did surprise me. So I would be interested to try this again on maybe another car. Now onto the water behaviour comparison. So I gave all the waxes about a day and a half to cure before putting any water on the surface, and you can see here that they all have fantastic water behaviour, and I do think this is where they all really excel. Out of the 3 waxes, Fusso Coat did repel the water more quickly. Kiwami and King of Gloss were difficult to separate, however I think that King of Gloss did sheet the water slightly more quickly than Kiwami. I also wanted to do a chemical resistance test on these 3 waxes. So I started by using Green Style all-purpose cleaner at 10%, which I haven't found is wax safe at this concentration, so I did think it would give these waxes a decent challenge. In order to do this test, I dried off the panel each time, sprayed the chemical onto the surface evenly, and then went over with a microfiber mitt to ensure even coverage, left that for about a minute and then rinsed it off, and I changed the order of application on each round. So you don't all get bored watching chemical resistance tests, I skipped ahead to round 5 with the Green Style all-purpose cleaner, and you can see here that King of Gloss had taken a considerable hit, Fusso seemed to be relatively unaffected, and Kiwami in the middle had taken a slight hit as some patches had started to degrade. And then went in with a round of Garage Therapy Decon shampoo at 10%, which is a far tougher test for these products, and most waxes can't cope with a single application of it. And as you can see the results here, Kiwami was actually wiped out by the Decon shampoo, and Fusso Coat was still going very strong. There was one slight patch where there was a tiny bit of degradation, but otherwise it was pretty much unaffected. So although chemical resistance tests aren't the best method for measuring durability, these trends do seem to follow Soft99's claims about the products. I always do like to do longer term durability tests, so what I did on this car was applied these products to the side of the vehicle and I prepared it in the same way as I did the bonnet. My plan is to monitor this long term and provide some updates on my Instagram page, which I'll pop a link to in the description. I'll pop links to all the products that I've used in today's video in the description below. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to drop it a like, and thanks very much for watching.